Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new edition of our online interview series. We want to get an update today from Fury Gold Mines. And with us here is directly from Canada. First of all, we have Tim Clark, the CEO of the company. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
Morning. How are you?
Yeah,
nice
great
to see you today.
Yeah, nice to see you. And also we have Bryan Atkinson, the Senior Vice President Exploration for Fury Gold Mines. Bryan, hi and hello. How are you?
Morning. Thanks very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time. I know it's early here for you. And yeah, let's go directly into medias res. We got a lot of questions from viewers, and that's maybe a question for you, Tim. What's going on with the Homestake Dolly Warden deal? There was like $50 million for sale. You did $11 million financing. So people are, of course, in this market phase. They want to know what's going on there. When can you get all the money? When can you use it?
Sure. No, listen, it's selling Homestake Ridge was a transformational opportunity for the company. We sold it in February. We closed. It was $5 million in cash and $45 million in stock, which is 76.5 million shares. Right now, the stock value is around 52, 53. So we're doing better than we expected, and but we still needed to get out and raise some more money. So we had $5 million in cash, but that's not enough to do a program for the year. We were thinking about doing a bought deal, but I have a couple relationships given my capital markets background, and so we went out and we talked to a senior producer in Canada as well as a U.S. institution in the U.S. that I've worked with for about 20 years, both. I couldn't ask for better partners, and they came up and gave us $11 million for about 10% of the company. Effectively, one of the senior producer, and I'm not allowed to really speak the name out there. I'm sure people know already, but it's one of the top 3 global producers in the world. It's extremely well run. I've got a lot of friends over there that are there to support us. They want to be partners to us. They see the opportunity. They're particularly interested in what we're doing in Quebec. And that brings us to our program with regard to starting our drilling program. We've been drilling about 2.5 months right now. The cash that we have is about $13 million to date right now. That gets us through the end of the year, in which case we'll be allowed to take some of the shares of Dolly Varden if we deem them necessary. Ideally, therein lies a great opportunity for investors because we're doing business as usual. We're blocking and tackling. We're at a couple areas that we are really excited about in terms of the program, and that would be a good place to sort of turn it back to you and Bryan.
Okay, super. Thank you very much, Tim. Yeah, I think also I'm a shareholder of the company, and I keep also buying because I think your stock price is really a joke, but who's not? I must say, quality was hit very hard. But also, to be honest,
so I would agree with you.
But I think it reminds me a bit to 2015, 2016. And when I was flying in 2016 to the PDAC in March, I thought really, okay, that might be the end of the career, or we are restarting slowly. And then from April, May onwards, all of a sudden things started. And I have a good feeling that the second half might be much, much better than a lot of people think, because we have so much pessimism in the market. So it's probably a good idea to have a very close look on.
I would agree. I mean, we're trading at $10 an ounce right now, and the group is at around 40. I can't tell you, and I've worked in the capital markets a long time, when you create value in a company, you eventually recognize it. Otherwise, the whole system breaks down, and there is a lot of upside value creation on our end. I think what we've done in the last year is really transform the company from a defensive position to one of strength. We're not going to be forced to go out and raise money when we don't want to. That gives us a lot of choices. We also have a lot of options in terms of drilling. There's no lack of drilling upside. And when we've sat down with some of these senior producers, and Newmont owns 5% of us as well, they are very keen because we have big land packages which a lot of juniors don't. So with regard to optionality, there's a lot of ways to win here. And you could have, what I think is going to happen too is that there's going to be some M&A in the industry right now because the valuations are so historically low that once you see these companies start merging or buying, it's going to push prices back up in the back half of the year. So what we've been sort of at the mercy of is a lack of news releases because the drill program takes time to get your assay results back. We also are trying to work with Newmont and Azimut on the joint venture, and so we've been delayed getting that agreement done. But what I think investors should be excited about and paying attention is the back half of this year, we're going to have a lot more news coming forward. And we think from what we've seen with our drilling, we like what's going on, and the potential is there for us to really increase the value of the stock.
Absolutely. Increase the value of the stock and make it a win. Those are keywords for me. And I want to talk to Bryan now, because Bryan, you are the Senior Vice President of Exploration.
To a new parallel fold hinge that we identified through geophysics and a new interpretation of the geology. And our first hole through there is intercepted 50 meters of silicified sulfidized breccia. So we're really excited about how things are going out there, and hope in 5 or 6 or 7 weeks when we get those assay results back, there's some meaningful news coming out there.
Okay, super. So we are talking about Eau Claire, of course, for our viewers. What other prospects do you see which have to be, let's say, focused on at Eau Claire? What do you have in mind? Where do you see the whole system?
Yeah, our focus at the Eau Claire deposit is not the deposit itself, but showing the expandability of it. So we had really good success at the Western Hinge extension in 2021. And we followed that up this year, chasing that out. We've extended the mineralization there another 300 meters out to the west with visually what we've drilled. Pretty exciting rocks coming out of there. And as we're chasing that to the hinge, what we recognized is you go onto the north side of the fold, and there's been no drilling there. You've got the right rocks, the right geophysics, everything's telling us to go drill there, and there hadn't been any drilling on the north limb of the fold. So we just completed our first hole there, and again, we're seeing the right rocks, and pretty happy with what's going across the core bench right now.
So how many holes more do you want to do there where nobody has drilled so far?
We're going to do a series of 3 to 4, and that's sort of our strategy. It's sort of statistically proven that 4 holes, if there's something there, you'll get a hit with one of them at a minimum. So we want to do that sort of suite of 3 to 4 holes, and then but not sink too much into it while we're waiting for assay turnaround times.
Okay, so a lot, as Tim said already, a lot of news are coming up within the next months.
We're sure open.
Super. Tim, I also saw you got a buy rating from H.C. Wainwright, from Heiko Ehle,
right.
A gentleman I know extremely well and a long time, as he is the same born in Germany. And I saw $1.60. That is quite beautiful, I would say, given the fact that where the price is today.
Listen, Heiko's great. We spent a lot more time, and I think one of the takeaways too is we've sat down with some of the other analysts recently up at PDAC. We have a better understanding of how the deposit is looking, and we see a lot more drill potential. And I know we tabled Committee Bay, for example, this year, but to be honest with you, we've got so much drilling in Quebec. We could spend a long time here, and so. As I mentioned, we had a recent investment by a senior producer, and they were actually pretty surprised at the size of our land package and what the potential could be. One of the comments that they said to us, which was great, was normally you have to spend a lot of time hitting the juniors over the head to step away from the resource. And their answer to us was, you're doing everything we want you to do to grow this and get bigger. And that's what we want to see in the juniors that we're investing in. So there's a lot of confidence. We're doing a lot of things right. The hinge is really exciting because we are taking it out, and that could be really prolific for us. The northern limb, as Bryan said, it's never been drilled, but it looks really exciting. If that does hit, it can really change the potential for this resource to get a lot bigger. And then, of course, Percival was one of the reasons why Ivan Bebic really wanted to buy East Main. I saw a lot of potential there, and our first drill hole is looking. You don't know because you have to wait for assay results, but we really like what we see. And so when you put all those together, we feel pretty good that we're going to have some news in the second half of the year, and we continue to add value on other sides of things like the Eleanor South joint venture. So there you go. That's the summary.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Eau Claire in itself that you can bring this into production to make a real beautiful mine out of that. One of the reasons why the big guy stepped in.
Bryan, that's all yours.
Well, the infrastructure is one thing. We've got hydropower within 5 kilometers of the deposit. We can drive right up to it. So, and the underexplored aspect of the broader land package. So, yeah, I think they see potential of the Eau Claire deposit plus the potential of the bigger land package, as Tim alluded to there.
Okay, super. Let's talk shortly about Committee Bay, because I had also 2 Swiss shareholders asking me that when I talk to you guys, I have to ask what's going on there.
It doesn't respond very well to geophysics, and historically up there, geophysics was one of the key tools for exploring. So now that we've got this new sheared metasediment that's hosting, significant gold. Like, for example, we drilled 14 grams over 10 meters at the end of the year there. So that's really broadened our horizons on the expandability of not just the Three Bluffs deposit, but also exploring the prospectivity of the entire belt. So we're taking a pause this year to really rethink that out. As I said, that style of mineralization doesn't respond well to geophysics. So we got to find a different way of going up there and exploring for that. So we're just taking a pause. We've got all the core down south with us. So we've been pulling out core and having a look at it and really getting into it. And then, excited to go up there, whether it's us alone or with a joint venture partner. Obviously, that would be ideal. So,
makes also sense. What are the holding costs of such a large land package?
We're about all in, including filing fees and everything. It's about 300,000 Canadian a year.
That's not much, I would say.
No, it's not much, and especially for the size of the land package. And what I would say to you too, and just on back of Bryan, is we know that a lot of people would like to go back up there. There's a lack of big projects out there, and there's going to be a cliff coming to this industry with a lack of exploration that's been done. It is expensive, and I think we've been really rewarded with investors excited about the strategy of focusing on Quebec for now. I think you want to go back up there with a stronger market and a lot more money. The other sort of question is what happens with Dolly Varden. It's worth $52 million, but I know Hecla is interested in the asset if we can show that it gets bigger, and that could be transformational for us to go back up with a lot more money. And then, as Bryan alluded to, I think it would make a lot of sense to go up with a joint venture partner of size. And I would say we have been approached by a couple mid-tier and a large cap producer inquiring about it. And I'm not saying they're going to do it tomorrow, but there's certainly interest in that size land package. And we've done a lot of work on that property, more than people realize across the whole property.
Absolutely. No, and I think times are really changing. And I think, was it the Newman CEO some days ago who said, well, M&A really has to restart and will be much, much bigger. I think this is key to the industry by now, honestly.
Well, I'll share with you that I when I was down at the BMO conference in Miami in February, the companies absolutely were more interested in seeing each other than investors at the time. So one of the things we're going to start thinking about is strategically what makes sense for us. And, like I said, if Dolly Varden comes to us and we can monetize that, it puts us in a completely different position. There's a lot of great assets we're looking at, and it's hard for people to raise money. I don't worry about raising money. I've got a lot of institutional relationships that like to get in. They'd like to see us bigger so that there's more liquidity, and that's part of sort of a longer term strategy to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super. Perfect. Hey, that sounds like a great update despite those horrible markets, but it is what it is. We cannot change the markets. You guys only can do what you can do best. Find the gold, the silver, copper if you want. I have no problem on that. And really make sure that things are running, the drills are turning, and produce great results, because that's what we finally need to get the value of the company up, right?
That's what we're doing.
Super. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. All the best. And I have a good feeling that we talk soon, because it looks to me like after the update that there will be a lot of news flow coming soon here, and really going by the end of the year. Tim, Bryan, thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you. Have a good summer.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tim Clark, the CEO of Fury Gold Mines, and also the Senior Vice President of Exploration, Bryan Atkinson from Fury Gold Mines. Yeah, you heard it. Times are tough. Despite that, the company is well cashed up with over $13 million here. So they're well cashed up over the end of the year. And as said, the second drill rig is at Percival already, but also a lot of other good prospects like Hinge and Northern Limb here at Eau Claire are really in the focus. They are drilling in a prospect where nobody has drilled so far. This is really something what I like, because if you have a big hit here and nobody did it before, that might be a game changer. But also, I think with Homestake and Donny Warden, that looks good. That to have that in the backyard, in the back with the cash that could be produced out of that potentially, and also maybe an M&A, whatever happens with Committee Bay. So you see a lot of optionality with the company at this share price. Sorry to say, but this is a no-brainer to look at and to own it. I'm buying more shares definitely, because I think this is way too low.